Hello, everybody. How's it going? Hey, Dylan, and hey, Pippi. Hey, Rudak. Oh, man, Rudak, I'm sorry about Stanley. I hope those meds work. We are going through something similar with Tula. She's had a pretty good appetite until today, but her back legs have stopped working, and it's been a lot of work to keep her comfortable and taken care of this week. Hey, Keith. And hello, Sleth. Wainscoat. Thank you for the like. And thanks, Comics Tropes, for getting everyone to hit the like button. Man, taking care of these pets is like not easy. These little weirdos, they don't even pay rent. But man, I owe Tula so much. She deserves to be taken care of. This is the second half, or the second quarter of my DC Horror Presents ... Whoops. Here's these two together. And then I didn't actually have paper big enough to do all four covers on one piece of paper, so I had to splice them together. Ah, thanks, Rudak. I am so proud of these two pieces. They really kind of feel like a level up for me. There's something about the looseness of certain areas combined with the tightness of other areas that I just am so happy with. I'm so pleased with. Hey, Emma, it's good to see you. Is that piano wire? I don't know what this is. It has to be magic wire because it's like holding back Superman. I think the idea was that it was like a they're trapped in a hell dimension, kind of like Hellblazer, or no, Hellraiser. Sorry, Hellraiser, being tortured. And this little bat is having a great day, though. Hey, Cooper. Hey, Mark. It's good to see you. So I'm very excited about this. The Superman comes out in October, Batman will come out in November, and then Mystery Person will be the following month and the following month. So I hope these do well. It's fun. It's fun to see how many people are doing like horror anthologies nowadays. I think it's anthologies are always really, really hard to make work, but I think that they're amazing. Like I miss Dark Horse Presents and stuff like that. I thought that was a great place for people to try out material and do experiments and do interesting stuff and import stuff. Powerful imagery indeed. Thanks, Cooper. The other covers are completed. So this was a rush job, kind of. They needed the first one in just a couple days, like a week after they first contacted me about it. And I made it 4 times harder on myself by pitching that we should do these connected covers. So I had to do all four in one go. And it took like it was probably faster than doing 4 individual covers that were unrelated to each other because I didn't have to like the sketching and the penciling was like one process as opposed to like coming up with a whole new concept for every single cover. But it took me almost a full week of like drawing and painting to get it done. I can neither confirm nor deny, Dylan, who the mystery person is. They probably wouldn't mind if I said, but I have gotten in trouble in the past about talking about stuff that before it comes out or before it's been like officially announced. But there are hints about who it could be. Thanks, Emma. Love this little bat so much. He's a good little dude. And he's found like a great little house. Is trouble just an emailed sigh from an editor? I've gotten very stern emails from editors in the past. So I try just not to try not to risk it. So I did not come up with a very good plan for today. I still haven't finished this experiment. And there's a couple more layers that I wanted to do to this. My idea here was to do I need to finish inking it. And then I also wanted to try some acrylic wash stuff on here. I only have a very vague notion of how I want that to work though, so we'll see how it goes when it goes. No risking it for the biscuit. Yep. I bought some new FW ink to play with this week. They had a 40% off sale at a store here. Oh, nice. That's great. I don't know. You guys probably hear it all the time when I open this drawer, but like here's my FW collection. Right there, I keep in that drawer. I need to find a better way to do it, but I have spent so much money on this ink. And 40% off is a great discount. Tyler, did you listen to Wolf by Boy Epic? I did. Wasn't quite my cup of tea, to be honest. I can see like why it's good, and I can see why people would like it, but it wasn't quite for me. But what I did do was I put it on, and my streaming thing of choice is YouTube Music. So I just put it on as a station, and it recommended some really good songs based off of that. So I've been listening to a lot of really fun new music, although I cannot think of the names of any of the bands off the top of my head right now. Is listening to music while drawing a good idea, or is total silence better for productivity? I think it 100% depends on the individual. I I have a whole like I have a whole process. Like I start off my day with music, and then once I get sort of into a groove, I'll tend to switch over to listening to podcasts. And then like after lunch, I do that's like when I get most of my real good work done is sort of in the afternoons, and that's for audiobooks because those are like keep that part of my brain quiet for hours on end. It's actually kind of hard to draw sometimes on stream because I would like to have music playing, but because of the YouTube algorithm, I've thought about putting together some music that that I've written that has never been published anywhere that like won't get a copyright strike, but I just haven't made the time to figure that out. What else is going on this week? I had some fun discussions about future projects, but nothing I can talk about here, but stuff that it's always just really good to talk to people and have it sound like have it sound like I can continue having a career in this business. I've been buying used records, so my listening choices have been from 60s, 70s, and 80s. I have no connection to modern music. I have like I have kind of varied tastes. I have a lot of very contemporary music, and I'll listen to a lot of 80s. Some, I guess, a lot of 90s. Not a ton of 90s. Like maybe early 90s. Record shops have been I buy a lot of records at record shops, but I don't find a ton of good records at record shops. I got one just the other day. Actually, I'll show it to you. It's got a really beautiful cover on it. That's a Johnny Cash on one side, and then mixed stuff on the B side. But it's got this like, God, I love this cover. I just love the design. I love these little fingers pointing. I love this beautiful painting in the middle of Johnny Cash. I love all of the like different fonts. They got so excited about different fonts. Yeah, I love this. So that's the kind of stuff I usually am looking for on when I get stuff at the thrift store. The goth country singer, exactly. The Man in Black. I was actually listening to a Nick Cave interview. Um, Maybe it was this morning, but he was just talking about growing up listening to Johnny Cash and how much he loved him. And I didn't really get into Johnny Cash um, until he started making records with like I always knew Johnny Cash and like generally liked him, but I didn't really get into it until he started making records with what's his face, um, the guy who's like a big hip hop producer. Yeah, Nick Cave is great, isn't he, Emma? Rick Rubens is the producer I'm thinking of. Yeah, there you go, Pippi. Which reminds me, I've been meaning to like pick up Rick Rubens's book and see if it's any good. Yeah, the American recordings. Yeah, they're so good, right? Like it's not just the it's just the whole production of those is incredible. I read an interview with Johnny Cash and he was talking about how Sony had like not was like not interested in releasing any new Johnny Cash records, and Cash was at the end of his rope, and then he was at some event and he's like, this guy comes up to me and he looks like a homeless hippie, and it was Rick Rubens, and he was like, I want to record you, and we're just going to set up in your kitchen, and you're going to play the songs you want to play, and that'll be the record. And they made some of the best Johnny Cash records of all time that way. Oh, you've read it, Emma, the Rick Rubens book. Nice. It's about being an artist and how the artist mind works. Oh, thanks, Pippi. I like I'm not being quite as thoughtful about this texture as I would normally be, but I do like painting the sword. I like trying to get it to look like the idea is it's made out of obsidian or something similar. And that's always fun to try to get that look to come out. Oh, you have a couple pieces of obsidian. Yeah, that stuff is cool. finished the new China Myville Keanu Reeves book that connects the Berserker comic. Connects to the Berserker comic. Oh, that's... Are they turning that into a whole, like, franchise? I haven't actually read Berserker. I should, though. I would really like Matt Kent, so I would love to see what he's got going on with that. The Keanuverse. I'll be right back. I just need to grab some tissue. Yeah, Mark. The pictures that Matt's been posting with his mom are really fun. It makes me want to try to get my mom to work on a book with me. Yeah, Black Cloak is pretty great. I think we talked about that a couple weeks ago, and I had forgotten what it was called. But Meredith McLaren is rad as hell. I really love her art. How worried should I be about portfolio appraisers zooming into fine detail to look for mistakes? That's a very interesting question. Um, so I'm going to tell a story. When I was first trying to get into comics, um, I went to San Diego Comic Con. We lived in San Diego at the time, so it was very easy to go. Um, and DC Comics had a portfolio submission um, tryout thing, and I put together my portfolio. They wanted like Xeroxed pages that they could look at, um, and they just had a slot in the wall of their booth at the convention, and you dropped your stuff in the slot, and then if you came back the next day, they would have a list of names up on the wall, and if your name was there, then they would do an interview with you and talk, like go over your portfolio together. And they were talking to like 100 people a day based off of their portfolios that they were leaving, but they were receiving 1,000 portfolios a day or whatever. God damn it! So I did that, submitted my stuff. I went. I got to talk to an editor. We sat down. We talked for a little bit, and everything was fine. And then as I was leaving, the editors that had been speaking to people all huddled up, and they pulled out the portfolio submissions that had been submitted that day, and they just like all sat in a line, and they would pull a stack of Xerox pages of art out of the pile. They'd flip through it, hand it to the next guy. He would flip through it, hand it to the next person. They would flip through it, hand it to the next person, and it'd go down to like 6 people, and then just go straight into a garbage can at the end. And they literally only looked at the artwork for 10 seconds, 20 seconds at the top, at the most. The stuff that they liked, they would look at longer. Um, so when editors are like appraising a portfolio, they really do like, you can really tell like really quickly if it's work that you want to um, see more of. I mean, like just imagine when you go to the comic shop and you're trying to decide if you want to buy a book and you flip through it. You can usually tell if the artwork is going to appeal to you in just a few seconds. The story is a lot harder to sort of appraise without actually sitting down and reading the whole thing. So to answer your question, if an editor is looking at your portfolio, they're not going to be looking to see if like, oh, your line weight is not exactly perfect in this panel, or the shadow here is just a little bit too fat. Like what they're looking at is to see if the storytelling is good. Like if you can look at a page and sort of get a gist of what's happening, or if it's the pages are poorly put together. So as much as like you really do need to sweat the small stuff only counts in as much as it affects the overall impression that a page gives. Because people, I mean, even when people aren't a busy editor trying to, find somebody in a slush pile, they comics read really fast. I mean, the idea is just all about communication. So I don't know if that answers your question at all. Kind of rude. Since we're talking about portfolios and judges at cons, how many pieces should you have in your portfolio? That's a good question. I don't know. Like the advice that I always received was like 6 to 8 pages, um, And I think when I was going around showing my portfolio, trying to establish myself, I would typically have a portfolio with 6 really strong pages, like my very favorite stuff up front, and then I would have, um, 12 to 15 pages with me. So the idea being that if I showed it to somebody and they were interested, I would have more to show them and there'd be more to talk about. So if you're doing something, if you're like going there in person and talking to an editor, I would say, like, I think that's probably still a good way to approach it, to have um, like a focused portfolio to show, and then if they're interested, have something more to show. One of the really big things is, though, to have something that's finished. If you have like just a finished story, like that's huge. Even if it's short, even if it's just a 10-page story, like just completing a thing, even a small thing, is actually really, really hard. And being able to show that you can do that is important. I was scared of making a single hatch line less than perfectly straight. Yeah, no, that stuff does not matter. It really is about like the draftsmanship is a is the tool that you use to tell stories, and the story, like your ability to tell the story, is what's important. And like I said, the draftsmanship is a tool, but it's not the only tool. Because I know, like, definitely my draftsmanship is like very poor sometimes. Other times it's like I think it's good. Quite often it's like not as good as I think it should be. It's Echo Week here, which means it is my civic duty as a Brisbaneite to eat strawberries. There's a place nearby that's doing an amazing strawberry soft serve. Oh my gosh, are strawberries aren't in season there? They're in season here. It's got to be. How is it strawberry time? I'm scandalized by that because I always want strawberries in the winter, and they're not as good. Hmm. Hey, here's ED. Okay, I'm gonna do something weird, and we'll see how it works. Yeah, texture. I was just thinking how it would be fun to put something that's like a flat color to fill in, well, not to fill in some space, but just to like mix up the texture of the surface a little bit. I don't know. Keith, yes, I did tape off between the frames. So we'll get to peel that tape off tonight. Extra tiny tape pulls. Oh, thanks, ED. I hope you're doing good. That eye pops very nicely. Keith, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you about Tula. She is having a hard time, but she's still with us, and she is very funny. I thought, yeah, I thought we would be saying goodbye to her already, but she's like so stoked to have me and Mott hanging out with her 24/7. Like if she's awake, one of us is with her because she gets so stressed out not being able to walk around on her own. And she's been the vet said we could take her off of her prescription food, which she always hated. So she's so loving eating yummy food for the first time in months and months. Oh yeah, Dylan, I'm using masking tape between. I use this stuff for in between panel borders, which is like 3 millimeter. It's about an eighth of an inch, and it works great. Gonna do some hair dryer. Oh, thanks, Edie. We're so lucky to have Tula too. She's been a real, um, yeah, she's made both of our lives so good. She's made everyone who meets Tula, their life is better for it. Hi, Kevin. Thanks for dropping in. All right, let's peel this tape and see what this page looks like. This is good. I like this approach. I feel like it's actually more successful storytelling than my original approach. Which is, I think, fine, but or even I think it's good. It's just different. It's just a totally different approach. And I feel like it just reads more cleanly, you know, like the figures are easier to understand. It's a little bit less to decode. I don't know. It's very interesting. I don't know if I would use this look for Lonesome Hunters per se, but maybe for some other projects that I'm thinking about. And there's like some fun stuff that I had not really anticipated, like my digital pencil lines still showing. Like up in here, all this like these red lines are the digital pencil lines, and like on Lupe's face here, like her teeth lines are like actually most of the stuff on her face, anything that looks like a line is the digital pencils. I think those actually work really well here. I feel like the background could use probably a little more attention, but this is just a test. This is just a style and color test. Yeah, and the crow's eye really is like popping on this page. It's like the biggest. It's like there's some lightness in this window, but this is like it's not quite white, and this is like the whitest thing outside of the panel borders. Oh, thanks, ED. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for me. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to pre-order your copy of the Lonesome Hunters in stores in October. I think October 1st. I've already forgotten. It's a beautiful library edition. Um, don't forget to tell the people you love how much you love them, and I love all you guys. I'm always so, so grateful that you hang out with me on Friday nights. It makes the end of my week so great. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. All right, I love you guys. Bye.